Hello,
Hi, everybody.
welcome to the lunchtime session for week 3, day 3. This is the final lunchtime session in this year, so we miss you. So, okay. So this is a cosplay lunchtime sessions from Naho and Matt and Sofie. Okay, so today's guest is Emyr and Sofie in the link. So for both, please introduce yourself for the first time. Emyr, go first.
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Emyr, and as you may be able to tell from my accent, I am from England. I am currently studying at Imperial College London, where I study aerospace engineering. My life mission is to use engineering to help improve sustainable energy. A fun fact is I have broken my arm 7 times, and yeah, I think as Zane might have just pointed out, I don't have a costume, so instead I brought this Torikizoku shirt.
Okay, thanks, Emyr. So the nice Torikizoku shirts. Okay, Sofie, you go next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sofie. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, so pretty close to New York City. I graduated in 2019 from MIT. I studied comparative media studies. Oh, thank you, Matt and Ichiro. I studied comparative media studies, which is a kind of interesting, unique program. But what I did with it is I learned how to make educational games. And that is my life mission, to make really fun games that teach things. And what were the other questions? Fun fact. Fun fact, I have never broken my arm. And my hobbies include games like The Legend of Zelda and animation, including anime from Japan, and art and theater. And yeah, ask me anything.
Okay, so today's guest is both Emyr and Sofie. So, and for the students and participants and coaches, and please add the YouTube live comment to asking the questions or giving us the cheerful messages. 応援メッセージもぜひ皆さんからお待ちしてますのでよろしくお願いします。Okay, Naho san, so go to the questions. For the first question is.
ATK say, what is that Japan should improve? Please tell me your idea. It's a deep question.
So there's a lot of questions today. So the one question answers the one person, right? Okay, so first is Emyr. Please answer the questions.
Oh man, starting us off with a difficult one.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I will try and do that. What is it that Japan should improve? I've been to Japan twice and I love it there. I guess, I suppose, I suppose maybe just being able to sort of getting used to maybe voicing your own opinions a bit more and just having a bit more confidence to kind of speak your own mind, say what you want, and not feeling the need to sort of conform to everything as much. Being able to be a bit more individual would be like maybe a good thing. But to be honest, this is a really difficult question because I absolutely love Japan and I love it a lot more than where I'm from. I think the UK has a lot more to improve. But yeah, hope that helps.
Okay, thanks, Emyr. Sorry for giving you the difficult questions.
Always.
It's my fault. Okay,
Ready
go
for
to the
anything
next.
now.
Yeah, go to the next question, Naho-san.
Okay. Oh, see, lazy. I want to go abroad to study, but I don't have much money. Please tell me if you have any advices.
Okay, go, Sofie.
Okay. So I will say there are a lot of universities that have a very good financial aid program. They're it's different for every university. Some of them, it might be a little more difficult if you are an international student to get financial aid. But you can always ask and do research. And then there are also scholarships or grants you can get. And for those, either you have to write an essay or enter a contest. There's a whole variety of ways you can get scholarships and grants. And that is when an organization or even the school gives you money to go there. So those are the three things I guess scholarships and grants are very similar. So two things I have for advice are to look for financial aid and scholarships and grants.
Okay, thank you. So she says there's a different way to get to the financial aid and the scholarship. So you have to find when you're going to the university, foreign university. ありがとうございます。Thank you. Okay, next questions.
Okay. ATK again, thank you. What after school activity did you go in your childhood?
Okay. Guessing I'm taking this one. Yeah, great question. I used to like doing a lot of sports. So I do a lot of rock climbing, and I did that twice a week. I also did a lot of track cycling, sort of on racing bikes. And then I also liked doing drama and acting classes, which I did every week. And what else did I do? I also did some activities related to my major. So I entered a competition where we had to build a rocket, which was really fun.
Okay. How about you, Sofie?
For me, let's see if I can remember. I also did drama and acting. I really like theater. I stopped in high school. I mostly did it in elementary and middle school, but then I did it again in university. And I actually, right now, have my first semi-professional job with the theater in my city. So I'm still doing drama and acting and theater. And then other things I did art club at my school. So I entered art competitions as well, which is like, it's not very common for someone who went to MIT to have done art competitions, but I did. And yeah, those were pretty fun, but also a lot of work having to finish art by a deadline. And what else did I do? Oh yes, I studied German in high school, and I was part of my high school's German club, which was pretty cool because we would spend time speaking German and making German recipes and eating German food, mostly dessert and sweets. But yeah, that's what I did.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 次の質問いきましょう。
Hi. Leo says, hello, Sofie and Emyr to Sofie. You mentioned you like to make educational games. What made you interested into comparative media studies and computer and game programming?
Yes, well, thank you. Very good question. I think my hat can answer the question. I love the Legend of Zelda video games and many other games too. But specifically, I think it was Zelda that made me want to make games because I was playing Zelda when I was a child and I did not want to stop playing, and I wanted to make games that made people feel the same way I felt. What is my favorite Nintendo game? Zelda. And a game other than Nintendo, I really like the Persona series. by Atlas, and I know Ichiro likes them as well. Persona 5 is my favorite, but I think the other ones are so cool too and very unique to play. Yeah, great question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. じゃあ次行きましょう。
はい。ウイママ says, do you live for yourself or others?
So I'm guessing it means, do you live with yourself or with other people? So at the moment, I'm living with my family. I've been living with them during the coronavirus pandemic, but very soon, for my last year of university, I'm going to be living in a flat share with some of my friends from my university course.
And should both of us answer, or are we still doing
Yeah,
one person?
go ahead.
Oh, okay. And I am living in a similar situation to what Emyr is going to do. I am living in an apartment with some roommates. So other people, we share the apartment, but we each have our own room.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go to the next questions.
Okay. Oh, there's some comment from Leo. Email for the introduction. I learned that you major in aerospace engineering. Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, aerospace engineering. It's an interesting one. It's quite a lot of work, but it's not too bad, and it can be quite fun most of the time. But yeah, it's a really technical subject with lots of kind of math and science, and I definitely recommend it if you're into, well, it sounds like it's just about planes, but there's a lot more than just planes to it. There's, rockets, racing cars. There's so much stuff you can do with aerospace engineering. And the follow-up question is, how does that connect to your life mission to stop climate change? Yeah, that's a good one, because they don't seem at first like they're related. But one of the big things that we did in our course was wind energy. So we had a whole year where we designed a wind turbine as part of a project. And that is where I kind of got interested in sustainable energy properly. And it made me think a lot more about not just how to make this kind of energy better, but how do we integrate it into the grid? And we've also, in aerospace, we do a lot of engineering to do with control systems, which is probably what I'm most interested in. So I've decided that I want to use control systems and computer programming to work with not just wind turbines, but lots of other sustainable energy and try and improve the systems we use.
Okay, thank you. 次の質問でね、レオ君から他の質問をもらってましたので、それに一緒に答えてもらいました。Okay, go to the next questions.
Right. Just skip this question. Asano says, what game do you do? Since Sofie already answered, maybe Emyr or Fish. Oh, sorry, Matt.
My favorite game is discussing about SDG number 14, Life Below Water.
The under the water is where you live?
So, yes. No, I love games as well. Actually, I'm like Sofie and grew up playing Nintendo 64 Legend of Zelda. So if students are quite young, but play the old Rokuyon Nintendo, my favorite. Thanks for asking.
Okay. じ
Okay.
ゃあ次行きましょうか。
はい。San says, what's the MIT like? I'm dying to get to know about that.
Well, I love your name, first off, because that is a sound I make a lot. MIT is very cool. It is a very unique place, and a lot of students there, they do everything like over 100%. So they have the mentality where they work very, very, very hard, and they put a lot of effort into their classes, but then they put a lot of effort into having fun as well. So I did not sleep very much when I was at MIT because I was either working very hard or having a lot of fun, or both at the same time, because a lot of my projects were also very fun. And it's very, I will say, the people there are very unique. I have met some people at MIT that are very different from anyone I've met elsewhere. And what was surprising to me is how nice everyone is. Because I thought at a school where that is famous for being very difficult, where people are very, very focused on research and studying, it would be more competitive. So students would try to be the best all the time and not care about their friends or anyone. And that was not true. Everyone was very, very helpful. And if you were having a problem, you could talk to anyone and they would listen and want to help. And yeah, I was very, very pleasantly surprised by everyone. And the professors, the same way, also super nice. It can be a little scary or intimidating to talk to a professor, but all of the professors I had they debunked that myth. They proved me wrong. They were super friendly, super approachable. I could go to them with questions or ask for advice. I still sometimes send emails to my professors to see how they're doing. And so that surprised me as well. I guess daily life, well, for me, also, please let me know if I'm talking too long. Okay. Daily life for me, especially when I was a second, third, and fourth year student, because your first year is a little different. For me, because a lot of CMS classes were in the afternoon and evening, I would actually be a little bit nocturnal. So I would be awake at night and sleeping during the morning. So I would sometimes have no breakfast, just lunch. And then I would go to my afternoon classes. And then I would do my club activities. And then I would do my evening classes. Then I would go to my dormitory. And I lived in the dorms all 4 years. And, a follow-up question. I'll get to that. I really liked my dorms. A lot of MIT students love the dormitories and they stay in them instead of trying to find a different apartment. And then, so I would go back to my dorm or the library and I would do all my homework, stay up all night. Then I would sleep in the morning and do everything again. Is there any department that we can study about enterprising? Yes, there is the Sloan School of Business. You can take business classes there. A lot of people will study that and something else, so they will double major, it's called. But yes, Sloan exists for enterprising. Any students from Japan? Yes, there are a lot of international students at MIT. I recommend it. Please come. Everyone will love you. I want to know the system of the entrance exam at MIT. MIT does not have entrance exams. It's an application. So I don't know if you talked about university admissions in your homeroom, but universities in America have an application instead of an exam. And you have to write essays and send them your grades. There are some standard exams, like the SAT and ACT, but it's not like in Japan where you have to get a certain score to get into a university because you send them a lot of other things too. There is a common application in America, but MIT does not use that. They use their own. So ignore the common application if you want to go to MIT. They use their own. They ask you a series of short essay questions instead of one long essay. And it's different every year. I can't tell you what the essays are about. They ask you to send test scores and grades and some letters of recommendation from your teachers or other mentors in your life. So for example, if you do an after-school activity, whatever adult is in charge of that could also write the letter. You also have to talk about projects you've done, interesting things like if you had a job, if you played sports, if you did volunteer work. There's so many things. It's very, very long, but you send that. And then you have an interview, and you have to impress your interview person. And all of these things, they go to the Board of Admissions, which is a group of people who work at MIT. And the board, they debate your results. Some of them say, oh, we think the student should come to MIT, and others say, no, we don't want this student. And they debate with each other, and then eventually you get an answer. And I do not know what kind of debate process they have because I was a student. I didn't work for the board. So it's a very mysterious process, but that's what it is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you answered a longer time. So the next question is answer. Emyr have to answer. Okay, 次行きましょう。
Good, take a break.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Now everyone will get into MIT.
Okay, I'm gonna pick some question to Emyr here. Emyr, I want to work in NASA, but is it possible to work there after graduating Japanese college?
That is a very good question. I would also think about working at NASA, maybe. I think you might have. To be honest, I don't know too much because I'm not American. I have a feeling that you definitely can. It is definitely possible to work there after graduating from pretty much anywhere. I'm guessing there might be some kind of security thing with like the FBI or something like that. But it might just take a little bit longer to get that kind of clearance, but I'm pretty sure you can almost definitely work there. I think it's, NASA probably have people from all over the world working there. Even from England, I would probably have to do a bunch of extra steps to be able to work there. There's also the ESA, the European Space Agency. I'm thinking that would probably be easier for me to work to in, well, I guess we're not really in the European Union anymore, but maybe it would have been easier. But yeah, I think from what I have seen in aerospace, a lot of all the space kind of organizations are very, very international, taking people from all over the world. And is learning aerospace engineering hard? It can be, yes. There's a lot of very complicated math, which can take a little while to get your head around. But at any university you go to, there'll be lots and lots of lectures and lots of time and practice for you to understand these concepts. And what I always find with more technical or math-based subjects is that there isn't so much learning involved. It's more about understanding. And once you understand a concept, then you've got it, you're sorted. Like once it clicks into place, then you'll be absolutely fine. But it is just that first stage of trying to understand it that can be difficult, but it is definitely possible. It's hard, but it's fun sometimes, maybe.
OK、ありがとうございます。じゃあ次行きましょうか。
Okay. Here's some question for Sofie. Momo said, actually, I will go abroad to Boston in September. Please tell me where you recommend to go in Boston.
Yes, I will try to answer very quick this time. Okay, a list. There is the seaport, which is the harbor by the ocean, and right in the seaport there is the New England Aquarium. You can see all the fish like Matt. There is the ICA, Institute of Contemporary Art. It's an art museum. Also the MFA, another art museum. The Boston Science Museum, or Museum of Science. The Freedom Trail is a nice tour of Boston and historical locations. There is also the MIT Museum, where they show cool experiments from MIT. And I recommend that one. Oh, and watch a Red
Hey.
Sox game.
Okay, next questions.
Hi. Okay, this one. Pucci said, tell me about your learning.
Major? Major or
It's an open-ended
okay.
one.
Yeah, so the Matt, you answer the questions.
Oh, the fish.
Fish.
Well, the fish have a very short memory, so we can't learn very. No, I think for learning as a teacher, I love to inspire a lifelong love of learning. So my advice and what I do is to always keep learning about new things, maybe even things you think you might not like. Just try it. What I say is learn by doing. And when you experience something, when you truly learn it, then and you might find something new that you like and that you want to keep learning. So that's what I'll say is just keep learning, keep trying new things. And if you have that mindset, you'll be surprised how many new wonderful things you can find. Unless you're a fish, then it's difficult.
Yeah, but your answer is deeper than the sea. 爆笑をさらってしまいましたが。OK、次の質問いきましょう。あと2分ですね。OK、2 minutes left.
Okay. We getting so many questions. MKA said, what is the best way to improve the English skill?
How about you, Emyr?
Sure. I think with any language, the single best way you can improve is just by speaking in that language as much as you can. So that's one of the great things about this English workshop is that although it is very difficult to kind of be speaking in English for the entire time and having no Japanese allowed at all, what it does is it helps you to start to think in English. So if you can do things that will help you start to think in the language you are trying to learn, that is, I think, the best way to learn. So yeah, just try and just keep speaking English as much as you can and just keep practicing your speaking, and it will become it'll become a second nature to you. It'll become almost an instinct.
OK。じゃあ最後の質問にしましょうか。なほさん、一ノ瀬さんの質問が良さそうですね。
一ノ瀬さん。これかな？Where do you think the differences between Japanese and American, and maybe could be British and do you think it caused by the differences of food culture?
OK, Sofie, go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if it is caused by the differences of food culture, but I was actually going to talk about I thought food was a major difference. I think that food in Japan, or at least like meals, not necessarily a snack from the konbini, but also some of those, tries to be more balanced to make sure that it has lots of different aspects of nutrition. Whereas in America, you can definitely cook food like that and get food like that, but that's not something that everyone is taking care of, especially, for example, if you get a hot dog from a Red Sox game, it's not going to be the most nutritious thing for you, but it will taste very good. And so, yeah, I think maybe relating to that, I don't know if it's caused by that, there might be a little more intention in Japan, where things are more like carefully thought out, whereas in America things are a little more spontaneous, or a little like they just kind of happen. And I guess in the example could be how Japanese people try to choose their words a little more carefully, and American people kind of say what comes to their mind right away. And both have good aspects and bad aspects. But yeah, that's what I think. Emyr?
Yeah. I think, well, I can't really speak much for America, but I think in terms of food culture, Japan has much, much better food than Britain. All of the British food is so boring, but that's one of the great things. I also, I guess, sort of like Sofie said, I think in Japan, everyone seems a lot more sort of, they think about, you know, what they're going to say a bit more, and they seem a lot more maybe respectful than people in the UK, in England, can be quite rude sometimes. So yeah, I guess that's another difference. Yeah, not necessarily caused by the food culture, although I'm sure if people in England had nicer food, they would also be a lot friendlier.
Okay, thank you. So this is the end, but we'll give you some advices about the life mission presentations. So Matt, please tell the students what is the best way to tell something about in presentations. So give some advice.
Yes, so for this, I will become Matt. It's important to be yourself, but be confident in your English. I have seen so many groups talking and enjoying speaking English, and everyone is so good. So please be confident, speak loudly and clearly, and enjoy yourself. Have fun. You're talking about your passions. And everyone watching, the audience for the speeches, please ask questions. It's really nice to ask your fellow students questions to learn more. But number one, be confident and enjoy yourself.
Okay, thank you for the great advice. Okay, so in 10 minutes, we will start in the afternoon module and doing in the life mission presentation or interview. So in the rest of the time in 4 hours, right? So enjoy the rest of the program. Okay, thank you for watching the broadcasting.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.